father was a wharfie in Cairns, and it got too hot for my mum, and we finally came to Wollongong, where they'd met. We finally bought a house at Warilla Beach, when Warilla was like a little, just a main road and a few houses along the beach, basically. And the closest high school was Kiama. So we used to get the Kiama school bus to Kiama High, which was right along the coast. You'd see the Boneyard and the Shallows and Bombo Beach and Kiama Beach. And it was just, most of the kids on the bus were either body surfers or board surfers, you know. And I started body surfing with them. I just saw these 3 lads, a couple of years older than me, just standing on these surfboards, streaking across this wave, you know, and I wanted to be one of them. The first time I stood up on a board was when I borrowed Ronnie Cochran's new foam board. Everybody had a balsa board, you know, but Ronnie Cochran had one of these new foam boards. I borrowed Ronnie Cochran's board and just paddled for a wave and just stood up without thinking, really, and found myself going right and just flying right until the wave sucked out and wiped out. And I just paddled out again and got wiped out again, paddled out again, got wiped out again, just paddled out till Ronnie called me in, you know, like he wanted his board back. And I was just totally hooked. I was probably 15, 16, and I bought an old balsa board that nobody else wanted off a guy called Biscuits. It was waterlogged and it was bits of glass peeling off. It had holes in it. And yeah, I rode that. That's how I started surfing. A couple of years after that, I went to Kiama to see my girlfriend. And on a Saturday afternoon, and she dropped me. I realised I was dropped. You know, she was with another Kiama guy. You know, and I realised that I'd been dropped, and I was feeling down in the dumps. You know, and I borrowed a board, paddled out in the surf, scratched onto this peak, came into the shore break, and got smashed in the shore break, and snapped my 2 front teeth off. So I came up spitting bits of tooth. You know. My girlfriend's dropped me, I've smashed my teeth, you know, I was feeling pretty down. And gave the board back. I was just sort of sitting on the beach wall there at the beach and back to the surf, and I looked across and there was something I'd never seen before, a duffel coat sort of walking towards me. You know, I was just, and it was a fascinating thing, you know, because, you know, the wool and the rope with the little wooden toggles, you know, I was just looking at this duffel coat. And it walked right up to me, and it was a babe, like it was a 19-year-old girl, you know. And she must have thought I was looking at her. And she came up and said, "Oh, how are you going?" You know, said hello to me, started talking to me, and I told her, you know, my troubles, and we had a lovely little talk. And we started talking about Hemingway and the bits of classical music that I knew, because she was a uni student from Sydney on holidays. And I'd never met a uni student before, you know, like it was, like they were kind of like aliens, you know. My dad was a wharfie, and my mates we were all just beach kids, you know, like, and I was fascinated by this uni student. And she said, "Come up to my flat where I'm staying, I've got something that I want to show you." So I tagged up, you know, up the steps to this little flat, and she reached under the bed and pulled out a classical guitar, and she played. "Can I play the music that she played me? I'll have to get the guitar out." So she pulled out a Spanish guitar from under the bed and just started playing, and this is exactly the music she played. I recognised it years later, and a friend taught me how to do it. And I sat there and cried. I was very embarrassed, but I just sat there and cried because it was such a beautiful thing for me to hear this guitar up close. You go surfing and things happen that you can't intellectually plan for. Your rational mind can't plan for them. Like there's so many things happen in surfing that you just, after it's all finished, you think, hey, did I decide to do that? How did that happen? Like you're inside a barrel, you just aim up a little bit, get a bit of height, It starts to get steeper, starts to break a bit in front of it, go down for speed, But it's almost not as if your mind doesn't make that decision. It's another part of your body makes that decision. And it's the same with music, especially if you're jamming with somebody. You're in a flow situation, and the best music comes out when you switch off and just let your instrument create the music. And I think there are heaps of similarities between surfing and music. I was about 24, I suppose, and I thought, I'm going to be a singer-songwriter. I'll be a singer-songwriter. I was living with my wife Lynn, who I'd just married, out at Newport, and doing concerts at this place called the Shack, Narrabeen, and concerts at a place called the Arts Factory in the city. And I used to do gigs at the Yellow House as well. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Yellow House. Yeah. So I was getting work as a singer-songwriter with these new songs that I'd pumped out, but it was $20. I was getting $20 a set at the Arts Factory. It wasn't paying the bills, so I was working scraping barnacles at Newport, down on the water at Newport, and surfing, always surfing. 3 other bands that I got to know at the Arts Factory: Tully, Nutwood Rug, and Tumham Shud. And the Shud boys said they'd been writing music for surf movies, and Tully had been doing it as well. And I became pretty good friends with them. Started doing some shows with them. It was a great little scene because Tully just lived down the road that way, and the Shud lived up the hill that way in Newport. And then I read in Tracks magazine that they were doing a surf story writing competition, and the prize was a stereo. And we didn't have a stereo. Like, we're pretty broke. I thought, stereo, I'll go in this competition. So I wrote a story and won the competition. And the editors of Tracks magazine were David Elphick and Albie Falzon at that stage. And they were the guys who were making the movie. And I knew they were making a surf movie. I said, do you want me to write a song? I can write a surf song if you like. I said, I'll give it a go, we'll have a listen to it. So I wrote I'm Alive, took it up to David's place and sang it to them, and they loved it. They went bananas over it, and David said, we'll give you a call. And I just went to work every day, scraping barnacles, home, practicing, scrape barnacles, practice, Well, I got to the studio, packed studio it was called, just up above Darling Harbour in the city, in Sussex Street. And G. Wayne was there. He said, listen, man, I just met him and shook his hand, and I said, listen, man, I nearly run out of studio time. We haven't got much time. We did a couple of takes, and then Wayne said, thanks. And I said, you ready to do really, I said, we can make this really good, And he said, no, thanks, we got it. And I said, is that it? He said, yeah, that's it. And so off I went, back on the double-decker bus to Newport. My song wasn't a pop song. My song was just a guy playing a guitar trying to give the person who listened to it a feeling of what it's like to be surfing. And the rest of the album was great, really great pop music, you know. So I kind of thought, I was a bit embarrassed. And I didn't realise that people were loving that song.
Look around at the day. Oh, look around at the day. I'm alive on being around where waves come smiling with curls all flying. Yeah, spend a lot of time inside the world of delightful rain. And whatever wind blows its song round the bay. And whatever wind knows my name. I'm alive on being around where waves come smiling with curls all flying. Here I spend a lot of time inside the world of delightful rain. And whatever wind blows its song round the bay. And whatever wind knows my name.
I remember looking at the movie and thinking, hey, he's cut the movie to the music, which is a really great thing. He started with the music and cut vision for the music. So the music is a standalone. The music's not just added to enhance the vision. The music is there and the movie's there almost to enhance the music. That was my first thought, you know. And I thought, oh yeah, good surfing. He's just done photographs of what people do, you know. I didn't think it was anything special. I thought Albie's just gone out and just filmed people just living the life that we're all living. And I didn't think it was anything. As a matter of fact, I thought it was pretty everyday and ordinary, you know. Now I realise that it was an amazing moment in history of people getting back, trying to get back to living in harmony with nature, surfing and gardening and living out of the city. But when I first saw it, I just, that was stuff that I'd taken for granted because I've been doing it, you know? Yeah.